much for coming today. We're very pleased to show you today Ensa, which is the first smart wellness app. And what makes Ensa really unique is its ability to connect to traditional medical records, connect to health and fitness apps, and also make real-time recommendations to the consumer that's meaningful for the first time. So what I'd like to do is show you what the app looks like to a consumer. And so I'm just going to do that in one moment here. Okay. Imagine the problem that someone like Lynn may have, because if she has, she exercises. She also uses Fitbit, Runkeeper perhaps. She has a medical history recently. Maybe she has asthma or a similar type of diagnosis, or diabetes that some people in the audience may have. So her challenge is to find out where could she keep all of her information in one spot, in one place. And what makes Ensa unique and what Ensa does is allow people for the first time to have all their health data in one place. So let me show you the app here quickly. So this example, again, this is Lynn, a consumer who, with 2 clicks, would be able to connect to her medical records. She's able, with another click, to be able to sync those medical records, and for the first time, people will be able to see their medical records on their mobile device with 2 clicks. And that's a first in recent history here. The second thing that she could do is connect to her health and fitness apps like Fitbit and Runkeeper. So, for example, here she is. She has Fitbit, but she may also use Fat Secret or Daily Mile. And she also wants to keep track, for example, of her weight and her glucose and her steps, but she forgets about how many steps she's going to take. Her heart rate. She forgets to check that off. So she now is able, for the first time, to be able to have both her medical records and her health and fitness apps all in one place. And here we are, we see this is what the trending data would look like. And even more importantly is this is the first time that consumers are able to have and receive recommendations based on their mobile device, based on these type of information, the medical records and the health and fitness apps. So here at Ensa, now it shows the Ensa brain at work, basically giving recommendations, showing that she hasn't checked off her heart rate, and also an alert. As you may recall, going back just quickly, Ensa knows that she has a diagnosis of asthma, right over here. And because there's an air quality warning over here, Ensa knows where she is. And again, for the first time, being able to show people be able to give recommendations and alerts to someone like Lynn, who has asthma. So it would let her know to go inside, and then also be able to, with her permission, she could also get a coupon at a nearby pharmacy for her inhaler. And again, this is a first. So we saw what Ensa can do in terms of combining the medical records, the health and fitness apps. It also has a social component, and that allows people, users, to be able to share their activity with their runners or with their family, or even track other family members who they're concerned about, and also be able to share it with their clinicians. So that's basically, this is, again, so Lynn would be able to have all of her information in one place. She's able to know which health and fitness apps she's connected to, and she'd be able to get real-time, meaningful recommendations on her mobile device for the first time that are actionable and help her to stay healthy without always having to see a doctor. So that's the app demo part. I'll just move to the business component here. Just one moment. You like that's good? Okay, all right, so. Okay. This one. Okay, we've all seen what's happening in the wearable device market. We see how fast it's growing. This is the projected growth of the wearable device market in the next few years. We've also seen today on stage, or yesterday, there was someone who's wearing a wearable biometric device. So this whole biometric device market is really beginning to move quickly. And whether it's a smartwatch, someone in the quantified self movement, people who are developing chronic diseases like diabetes or hypertension, this tracks very closely. In fact, the wearable device market seems to be tracking very closely to the development of these type of diseases here in the United States. So maybe it'll help slow that graph a little bit. Oops, sorry. So just coming back again a second. So the Ensa market is really for the quantified selfers, healthy people who want to aggregate their data in one place, healthy people who healthy people who today use a Fitbit, but tomorrow may develop an illness and they want to be able to understand what it means and how they could stay healthy with all this different information. The partners that we have, we're working with IBM Watson for the artificial intelligence, the AI component, as well as for the ability to do big data management. We're working with the New York eHealth Collaborative, which is responsible for the creation of a centralization for health information. All medical records in New York State that are exported from hospitals and clinics are going to be going to one spot. And the Ensa team is working with them currently to be able to we'll be one of the first consumer-focused apps that'll have access to almost 18 million New Yorkers when that HIE goes live. California has a health information exchange too, so there's a potential for millions of people to be able to use this type of application to stay healthy, to aggregate data from their biometric devices. We also, obviously, we work with Runkeeper and connect to Fitbit. We receive data from Practice Fusion from the export of the standard format, the medical format. We're working with the Mayo Clinic on some more sophisticated biometric devices like blood pressure monitoring, and even more detailed in the future, more interesting devices as everything gets connected to the Internet of Things. So that's that story. So basically we started in 2010, although as I like to say, I started the app 20 years ago, but yes, we started in 2010. The web app came shortly in 2012. We went on the iOS store in 2013. We were seed funded, and we're doing an active Series A raise right now. We have an outstanding team, and just to let you know my background again, I've been in healthcare IT for 20 years, and have been involved in other startups before, one which exited with acquisition by GE. We have an outstanding development team who's with us here today, who's made all this possible. NYU computer science degrees, et cetera, et cetera. Our advisors are from Watson IBM, the chief core architect, and Clarence So from Salesforce, who taught me that the secret isn't only in the data aggregation, but in making the data smart. So I have to say thank you to Clarence for that. And so what's next? Of course, we're looking for great people to work with us. This is some comments about us in the news. I'll let other people speak about about who we are and what we've done. Thank you so much today for listening. Thank you to the launch team and Jason Calacanis and the startup team here. We appreciate it. If you have any questions, I'll take questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Mike. Show me your hands if you have any questions. I'm going to ask one for myself, which is, what is your plan and strategy to get medical records? Because I think this is maybe one of the most interesting things that you're bringing to the table is the central repository that Ensa could be. You have X number of fitness wearables plus what your diagnoses are. Where do you have those? You say New York is close and California is coming. What is the state of other states releasing that information? And what are the privacy concerns around handling sensitive information in terms of HIPAA and all that other dense regulatory environment?
Okay, well, I'll take the first question about the health information exchange. It's not the health insurance exchange. Sometimes people confuse the two. It's an HIE. It's a health information exchange, which basically mandates that anyone who receives government payment, either for Medicare or Medicaid or for VA, has to be able to have has to be able to export data to a central repository, which each state runs itself. It's a little bit confusing in how it'll all play out. No one is certain, but currently California does have an active health information exchange, HIE. Not everybody reports into it, but more and more people will in the future. New York State is about to come online. That'll bring 18 million people on, be able to sync directly their medical records and allow us to then have them forward that information to us to help keep them healthy. So that was the first part of the question. Then the second was about the HIPAA. So there's never been a time before where consumers, and it's this consumerization of healthcare, is what's really occurring, where consumers are at the center of their care. And this hasn't happened before. What they've seen before is, so now consumers are able to have all their records, access their records, but what they do with their information afterwards is not clear. They could forward to us, of course, we have the highest HIPAA standards in terms of privacy and such like that. So HIPAA is a very important component. Privacy is very important. But what's cool about the Ensa app is that they could share some of that information with us, some of their medical records, part of their medical records. They can get recommendations on all of their medical history or just specific parts that they'd like to receive recommendations on.
Yes, so looks like a fantastic app. Follow-up question from that. What electronic medical record systems have you done integration with? I know so you have Practice Fusion, but what about Epic, Cerner, people like that?
Right. All these medical records, all the electronic health records, whether it's Practice Fusion, Epic, legacy systems, have to be able to export in a standard format that's called a CCD, Continuity of Care Document, or CCR, Continuity of Care Record. And so we can basically, anyone who has an electronic health record today, any provider, chiropractor, nurse practitioner, PA, whoever, has to be able to, or should be able to shortly export a standard document, which we can then upload. So it could be from, we're device agnostic from the, agnostic from the biometric side. We're device agnostic from, as long as it's exported in a standard CCD format.
Other questions?
Yeah, how are you going to make revenues? Right now I just saw coupons. What else?
I'm sorry?
How are you going to make revenues?
Okay, so our revenue model is twofold. One is, and I've been practicing this, so it's geocoded, permission-based native advertising, so that if, let's say, Lynn, this consumer that the user we were discussing, she wants to receive coupons, whether the coupons are for her health condition or the coupons are from her health, from a Nike store. We know that she's run a certain number of steps. She has Nike Fuel Band, and they say you're supposed to change your sneakers if you're a runner every 12 miles. We could ping her with a coupon for that. So that's how that's one of the ways that we'll be able to monetize. And the second is from larger clinics and hospital systems that want to message the consumer. Up until now, a lot of the legacy systems and hospital systems forgot that there is a healthcare consumer. It's been all on the enterprise side. That's why Ensa, what makes Ensa unique is that it's consumer focused, it's on the consumer side for the first time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was a bit confused. Did you say that you are getting the data directly from these centers, and you're getting the EHRs and MHRs, or do they have to submit their files? I was a bit confused there.
In terms of the medical record?
Yeah, how do you get it into your system?
So what happens is the consumer is responsible for getting their medical records, and then once they get that file, either they give us permission to sync directly to that central repository, the health information exchange, or they get the file and it's old school CCD download, upload, and they can upload it.
And so then you become a data repository for these records? Is that correct?
Our goal is not to be a data repository, but rather to use the information that the consumer wants. They can delete part of their medical record. They could delete all of their medical record. They could only stay on the health and fitness app side if they choose to, and have recommendations just based on that.
Other questions? Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Dr. Mike's going to be here. Grab him, ask him questions. The app's in the store. iOS, are you working on Android?
Pardon?
Are you working on Android?
Yes, we're working on Android, and we have a lot of exciting developments that are coming up in the future. So please stay with Ensa, keep an eye on it, and we welcome your feedback. Thank you again for the
Oh, yeah,
launch.
one more question. You said you're hiring. Are you guys based in New York? Where are you looking for people? Where are you open to hires?
Yes, well, we're based out of Brooklyn, New York, but San Francisco is also looks like we may be here shortly if things continue the way they're going.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.